This is the House GOP leader responding to questions about the president's repeated comments and tweets. Have a listen.
I understand when I listened to their press conference yesterday, they talked more about impeachment than anything else. Even one of those individuals, this wasn't the first time they talked about impeachment. On the night of being sworn in, they brought all their supporters together, and they spoke about impeachment in words that I will not use here. This is more from their basis about politics. And it's unfortunate. We should get back to the business of America. Yes?
Mr. McCarthy, and I'd like to hear from both you and Mr. Scalise here, going back to a couple things you said.
Sure.
You've said that this is politics.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Scalise, you said that this is one more chance to go after the president here. Do you have a resolution like this on the floor today, though?
I will vote against this resolution if you're asking.
You're going to encourage your members to vote against that resolution?
Yeah, it's all politics. If you look at the resolution itself and you look at the rules of the House, you can't even name the resolution on the floor. If this is the case of what they are concerned most about, let's go through every comment individuals who have made on the other side of the aisle. Are we bringing a resolution up on the floor about their comments? No. When they question a person's faith, where they can actually believe if somebody of the Jewish faith could support America, or do they have to support Israel? When the questions and comments individuals have made, and that's why this body should be better than this. The individuals that you continue to play politics with, let's solve the problems that are before us.
But this is the root of my question here, though.
Yes.
There is a perception, whether it be right or not, that the Republican Party and members have not sufficiently rejected what the president said. You say that these comments are not racist.
I think the president clarified that.
Even if it is the situation that those comments are over the line, even if you don't believe it, isn't it a problem with the optic for the party that members are going to vote today on your side of the aisle to support the president and what he said about
I think this party has been very clear. We are the party of Lincoln. This party believes in the content of the individual. I've watched from our own actions. I've watched an individual in my own party do something that we disagreed with. We took action. I've watched the other side of the aisle, though, when it came to questioning a person's faith, a person's loyalty to America and other, that no action was taken. I've watched what was written in a resolution using words that you can't even use on the floor. I've watched a press conference that only talked about impeachment. I've watched a chairman of the Judiciary Committee that handles impeachment use as their platform to win the chairmanship that he would be better to impeach the president. Long before a Mueller report ever came through and said no collusion or others. Let's not be false about what is happening here today. This is all about politics and beliefs of ideologies of what individuals have. Yes, sir.
Last question.
Do you think that there are decent chances of getting a premium caps and debt limit before the recess? And if there's not a caps agreement, do you want to ask your members to vote for a clean debt limit this month?
I do think that we can get this done. And I would say to the Speaker, if we are as close as I believe we are and we need a day or two longer, we should stay here and make sure we get it done. There is a real concern, and I don't think this is a question on any side of the aisle, that when the debt ceiling can hit, that it could hit early September or maybe sooner. We should not leave for August without dealing with that. And I would say if we can't get this done, we should do a 30-day. I don't think that's ideal. I'd rather get a cap agreement and a debt ceiling agreement before we leave in July. And I think we are very close to making that happen. Yes, last question.
Do you agree with President Trump that former Speaker Ryan was weak, ineffective, and stupid as leader?
Look, I think Speaker Ryan worked very hard. I think he was a good speaker, and he was a great speaker. Speaker Ryan is a very good friend of mine. I've watched what he's been able to achieve. I've watched what he's been able to achieve with this president. Tax reform that has not been done in 30 years. All those statistics, as I laid off for you in the economics of where it was a team that was built. I've watched what you're quoting something based upon a book that I have not read, and then I had talking to the Speaker Ryan. I know that's not the words of what he would use because I've been in rooms with him and with the president. These are two individuals that work very well together. I know that someone can take a language out. In there they talk about Mr. Ryan talking about the president coming from business. That's exactly what America needed. A president who could come in and shake up Washington. Speaker Ryan was perfect in the job where he was at, the knowledge of what he had, and that combination together made sure in this Congress that we got tax reform done. Because remember this, Article 1, Section 7, tax reform doesn't start in the Senate, it starts in the House. And without Speaker Ryan and without President Trump, it never would have gotten done. Thank you.
On socialism?
You heard the response there, the House Republican leadership essentially saying, listen, it's the other side that's had the offensive comments, right? And they will not say, in fact, McCarthy there saying the president's comments, tweets, et cetera, were not racist. We're back with Tolu Olorunnipa, Jeff Mason. Jeff Mason, we asked the question prior, how will the Republicans respond? Will they stay in lockstep with the president? And that's what they appear to be doing here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think it's interesting that Leader McCarthy said this is the party of Lincoln, which it was and is supposed to be, but it is certainly also the party of Donald Trump. And you see that in the fact that they are not addressing some of the concerns that people had about what the president said and focusing instead on their concerns on the other side. Now, he also said this is about politics. Surely both sides are engaging in politics. That's what is done in Washington. But the president has put enormous pressure on his own party because of some of the things he has said and tweeted. And we've seen now with this response about how they are going and how they are reacting to that.
Yeah.
Tolu, how significant is it that Leader McCarthy tried to frame the entire conversation? The first words out of his mouth in this presser today were the new Democratic Socialist majority. I mean, how dangerous is that for the Democratic Party? And if you're Nancy Pelosi, how do you deal with that labeling?
Yeah, Leader McCarthy definitely thinks that is a successful political strategy to label the Democrats as socialists. The president is on board with that. It's a way for him to turn the script around and not be talking so much about defending the president's racist tweets, but instead attacking his opponents. But I did think it was very interesting that he was willing to break with the president to a certain degree when it came to defending Paul Ryan and saying, Paul Ryan was a perfect House Speaker for the time, where President Trump said that Paul Ryan was weak and ineffective. But when it came to breaking with the president over his racist tweets, Leader McCarthy was not willing to draw that distinction or draw that contrast. He stood right next to the president. So he did show that he's able and capable of at least putting some daylight between himself and the president. When it comes to racism, he chose not to make that distinction.
Well, Jeff and Tolu, thanks very much.
You guys.
Always good to have you on. Let's speak now with Republican Congressman James Comer of Kentucky. Congressman, we appreciate you taking the time this morning and also for being patient as we waited for the press conference there. It's good to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
So let's begin. You have said, like Kevin McCarthy, the House GOP leader there, that the president's tweets and comments since those tweets are not racist. Let's just remind people, he has said that these congresswomen should go back to the broken and crime-infested places from which they came, though, of course, 3 were born here in the U.S. He said that they hate America. He's falsely claimed that they're pro-terrorist again today. You say they're not racist. I mean, are those comments offensive? Are they divisive? Are they nationalist in your view?
I do not think they're racist. I've said that many times over the last 48 hours. They probably are divisive. I think if you broke down America on the tweets right now, the people that absolutely despise the president are offended by the tweets, and the people that support the president don't have a problem with the tweets. This president campaigned outside the box. He was a self-proclaimed, not politically correct person running for the office, and the majority of America that elected President Trump are sick and tired of politicians that are politically correct, the ones that come on your show and just speak in sound bites and don't really answer the questions.
Politically correct here? I mean, listen, as you just said, his comments are probably divisive. Is that a response that I mean, we both have 3 kids. I mean, is that a description of America of America that you want to say, listen, if you disagree with me, you must hate this country? But the president's repeated that. This is a country founded on political disagreement and the right to express it.
Well, there's a battle going on in Washington right now, right here in the halls of Congress where I'm doing this interview. And you have 4 congresswomen who the president, who has been at the root of the president's ire on Twitter. They are the new face of the Democrat Party, and they are trying to take the Democrat Party in a socialist direction. And the overwhelming majority of middle America, the majority of people, the overwhelming majority of people that support the president are afraid of this socialist agenda, and they support the president's agenda. And they've gotten to the point to where they don't really worry about the tweets, they just support the agenda.
You're talking about, first of all, there are 4 congresswomen of more than 220 Democratic sitting who have a diversity of opinion here. But beyond the policy issues, and I acknowledge there's genuine disagreement even within the Democratic Party on many of these issues. But on the vision of America, do you want to see a sitting president say, you should leave this country, in effect, if you disagree with my view of it? You must hate this country. And, to be fair, falsely claim that they're pro-terrorist. There's nothing in the comments there that support the president's attack on them. Is that a vision of America that you support?
What I think the president was trying to imply is if you're not proud of America, if you do not want to stand when the national anthem's being played, if you're ashamed of the way that our country's operated, you're more than welcome to leave the country.